Hi, Bianca.
Hi Janet, how are you?
Good. So, what inspired you to join this play? Were you familiar with it before?
No. So I've worked with Gio before on some projects. We did a play reading back in January. That's when we met. And it was also like an all Filipino cast and crew kind of a thing. And then we did another reading in May, I believe. And then he contacted me to do this, and I was like, of course, because I love Gio. He's always so welcoming. And like ever since I first met him, like to meet him on a project with all Filipinos, it already felt like family. And he immediately felt like family as well. So when he contacted me to do this, I was like, I will do whatever you want me to do? Yeah, and then of course I saw that it was a majority Filipino cast as well. And I love doing projects with all Filipino cast or like majority Filipino cast. So when he reached out to me about it, I immediately said yes.
Yeah, great. So, can you tell us more about your character?
Yeah, so she is named Eugenia, or her nickname is Henny. She's Filipino American, just like me. She is has a history degree, and she's one of the three professional criers for hire. But her main thing is that she wants to find love, but she's always with the wrong guy. I think when you're like wanting love so much, like you want to find it with like, any person you're with. And I think Henny is very much like that. But she's also the more dramatic one of the group. Like I think the two other ladies are, very professional with their cries, but Henny is very dramatic and over the top, which honestly is very much like me. I feel like I'm also, my parents call me OA,
Right.
like like very dramatic. So that's who Henny is.
Yeah. So, what do you know about cries for hire? Have you ever experienced them in the Philippines, or, what's your reaction to this practice?
No, well, when I saw the play title Criers for Hire, I was like, what is that? Like I didn't know what that was, and when I read the script, I was like, oh, like this is a real thing. Akala ko like when I saw I don't know, when I saw the premise, I was like, oh, like Gio just came up with this, but I read the whole thing and I was like, oh, whoa, like this is real. So this is my first time hearing about
Mm.
Criers for Hire?
Yeah. So, in real life, do you cry easily, or what makes you cry?
Janet, I think it's hard for me not to cry. Like I'm a very emotional person. If if I'm happy, I cry. If I'm sad, I cry. If somebody's crying in front of me, it's very hard for me not to cry because I don't, Filipinos are so emotional talaga. Like yes, it's very easy for me to cry.
Can you share with me your acting process? How do you prepare for a role, and how do you relax after a performance?
Oh, good question. So I went to acting school. I got my BFA in acting degree at St. Edward's, in Austin, Texas, and I graduated 2021. And I think the first show that called for me to figure out my process like that was I did a show called Good Friday, and it dealt with very heavy and emotional themes. It talked about a lot about campus shooting and victims of sexual abuse. And I was 19 at the time, and I think then I just didn't know how to do that, how to, take the mask off when you're dealing with such heavy themes, especially doing a show every night. I think what I found was important was, I gave it all, on the stage. And then I think I really needed to have a moment to myself when I got home, like by myself, nobody around, and, take the mask off of that character. Um, I think, and also prayer is really important for me too. So I feel like that also helps me calm down and like center myself after doing such a heavy show. So that's how I process afterwards in terms of like preparing for a role. I think, reading the whole script helps, not putting any expectations on it. And then also just allowing myself to play when
Mhm.
I'm like in the rehearsal process and like learning my lines. Like I don't want to learn them a certain way. And then when I get to rehearsal, I can't do it a different way, you know? So like allowing myself the freedom of taking chances, doing different things. Of course, sometimes the director has different vision than you do as the actor. So being open to that as well has really helped me.
Mhm. So you're the newbie in the group because a lot of them work with each other together. So
Yeah,
how
yeah,
was
yeah.
the bonding with the cast members?
So we haven't met officially yet for
Mhm.
rehearsal, but I've met Evie before. The same time I met Gio in the play reading back in January. But like I said, I feel like whenever I work with Filipinos, like I feel like it just immediately like there's a bond there, you know? Because we can like speak the same language, like most of the time like we have the same humor, you know? So, but like I said, anytime I work with Gio, it's always a great experience, so I'm excited.
Yeah, so talk more about Gio, working with Gio. Has he changed?
Well, I've only known Gio a few months, but
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
think he's always, he's his sassy self, but of course, like he's very professional. I love like his ideas when it comes to directing, like being directed by him and seeing him direct the other actors. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I never would have thought of that. Like he just seems like such a seasoned director and like so professional, but also so welcoming too, which helped me a lot too. Because when I did the play reading back in January, I hadn't met anybody there before. Like I was also the newbie there. Well, because I'm originally from Texas. I moved here 2 years ago. So a lot of the time, like I'm the newbie in the room. I don't know everyone there. So he was really nice and welcoming and like that made me feel comfortable and excited to be a part of the play reading.
Mhm. And how's life in Texas? Did you also act there?
Yeah, so I started in theater when I was 14. So, right when I was starting high school, that's when I started my acting journey. I was a shy kid, but then when I found theater, like that really helped me just like blossom, like open up out of my shell. So I acted in theater there, and then I went to school for acting, 2017 to 2021. So I acted in school there as well. And then when I graduated college, I still acted, but there wasn't a lot of theater going on because the pandemic.
Mhm.
The pandemic hit my junior year of college, so kind of slowed things down theater wise. So I got more into TV and film, and then I got an agent, and so I acted professionally there in Texas for a couple of years, and then I moved out here.
So how's life in Los Angeles?
Oh my gosh, Janet. It was really hard at first because I didn't know anyone. And so I had to rebuild my life not only as an actor, but as a person. So I think I took a little bit of a step back from acting just so I can find community, familiarize myself with LA because it's so different from Texas. Janet, when I came here, I was like, where's the parking? There's no parking anywhere.
And so
So
expensive.
yes, and so expensive. So I think I really needed to take time to figure out my life as a person first. And it was hard because I didn't have community. I didn't really have friends. But then a couple months after moving here, I got into this class called Advanced Auditioning for the Camera with Kenzo Lee. And the class was from East West Players in
Mm.
association with NBC Universal. And that really helped me finding community. And it was also my first time in a setting where it was all Asians, like all Asian creatives. And I remember just being in the class and just so in awe of like just being there because that was my first time being in a room with all Asian creatives. And I was like, I've always wanted this. And like now that I'm here in LA, like this is possible. And then ever since then, like I've been lucky enough to have done quite a few projects with like majority Filipino cast and crew, which is also something I've always wanted to do. And that wasn't possible in Texas. So it was hard at first, just rebuilding my life. But then I quickly realized just how much opportunity there is here, and also especially opportunities to work with Asians and Filipinos, which is something I've always wanted to do.
Mhm. You know, in Japan, they have also husband or boyfriend for hire.
No, I've heard of I've seen it on online and I'm like,
So if there's criers for hire in Japan, there's husband or boyfriend for hire. If you were
maybe I'll
going to
try.
hire a person, what kind of person would you hire?
Oh, Janet, they have to be handsome, of course. They have to be kind. Um, My big thing is they have to be a man of God. That's just me in general. So that they have to be kind, generous, and you know what? They have to be silly too. They can't take themselves too seriously. I'm someone who likes to dance and sing all the time, so I need someone who matches that energy, you know?
Yeah. So my last question would be, what do you hope audiences will get after watching Criers for Hire?
Yeah. So when I read it again, I didn't know really like what it was about. So I read the whole thing and this was the first time me reading something where they talk about, Filipinos who move to America and send money back, but the sacrifices they have to make, you know. She couldn't see her daughter grow up because she moved here to, build a life for herself and so that she can provide a good life for her daughter so she can move her here. And that's a very real experience. We know it or we know someone who knows it as Filipinos, you know? And that was my first time seeing it on a script. And it's like, wow, like I'm glad Geo is shedding light on this very real experience for like a lot of Filipinos, you know? But for someone who maybe might not know a Filipino or might not be, close to someone who's Filipino, they don't know that experience. But it's so real. It's so real and it's so common, you know? So I hope when people watch this show, they take away like, oh wow, like I didn't know that that was a thing, but it's so real and it's so important, and I'm glad it's being talked about.
Mhm. And where are your parents from in the Philippines?
My mom, she likes to call it LA. She's from Legazpi, Albay, and then my dad is from Camiling, Tarlac.
Okay. And have you been to the Philippines
Yes,
recently?
I've been a handful of times just throughout my life. My last time I was there was 2018. We were supposed to go 2020, but the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I haven't gone back since, but I have been meaning to
And
because all
when
my dad's family is there. So it's the only time I get to see them.
and your favorite Filipino food?
Ay, nako, favorite. I love, I love that's a hard question. Um, I'm gonna say sinigang.
Oh,
It's a classic. It's
yeah. But there are different kinds. Sinigang na baboy, sinigang na
sinigang ng baboy, yeah.
yeah.
Or I also love lechon kawali.
Yeah. Well, it's nice talking to you. I look forward to watching you on the play. We're gonna be there.
Oh, yay, awesome. We
And
get to meet in
hopefully,
person.
yes, yes.
Also,
Thank you
Janet,
very
I
much.
want to I want to say you're amazing. Yes, I looked you up and I was like, I didn't know who you were. So I looked you up and I looked up some interviews and I was like, wow, first Filipino woman in the Golden Globes journalism. I'm like, thank you for paving the way for us. Like, thank you for all the work you
Oh,
do. And like, you're amazing.
thank you, and hope to see you in person
Yes,
finally. Yeah. Thank you. More
yes.
power to you.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.